Good day. We are really sorry that we cannot be with you in person to present our research paper. The title is The Return to Class After the Coronavirus Pandemic. We are Dr. Danielle Morin, Dr. Salim Lamiri, and Mrs. Sarah Ossini. We are from Concordia University in Montreal, Canada. We all been through the pandemic. So we remember that at the beginning of the pandemic, there was an abrupt shift from in-class teaching to Zoom teaching, virtual teaching, and this happened probably all over the planet. There was a period of mandatory isolation, university closure, lack of motivation, high level of anxiety. And then after 2 years, universities started to open again in summer 2022, slowly, and then for the fall 2022 and winter 2023, university fully reopened, but the teaching and learning seemed to be a little bit different. After learning what seemed impossible, virtual teaching was possible. So therefore, a part of it is included, remain in the new reality after pandemic. The literature is very rich concerning this abrupt change from in-class to online teaching. Some show that it was a positive experience. Some claim that it was not as bad as they feared. But the main thing is that we have all experienced the good and the bad of online teaching and learning. At the end of the pandemic, at the end of the mandatory isolation, then we were back to in-class teaching. The university reopened, face-to-face remained the main method of delivery, but we observe that some instructors have included in their in-class teaching some of the lessons learned during the pandemic. But returning to campus is quite exciting for some, but then we discovered new patterns in students. Attendance was a little bit different, and there's a certain lack of motivation. The methodology for this research is as follows. An MBA course is selected at a Canadian university in the field of analytics over 2 semesters, fall 2022 and winter 2023. An online survey is developed and conducted at the end of each semester. The online survey is made of several parts: demographics, class attendance, information returned, and open-ended questions. The answers to open-ended questions are analyzed using text mining. We will see the results for both semesters in terms of demographics, gender over semesters, age categories over semester, class attendance, proportion of material learned and retained, text analysis results, and sentiment analysis results. The distribution of gender over semester, we see that in the fall 2022, we have 60 people who answered the survey and 33 in the winter semester. This difference in the size of the class is normal because most students start their program in the September semester. The proportion of male in the fall 2022 is 66.7%, while it goes up to 73.5% in the winter. Equivalently, the proportion of female was reduced. Age categories over semester is also interesting to look at. The most popular age bracket for this graduate program is from 25 to 30 years of age. We found in 2062, in the fall, 65% in this category, while this category goes down to 58.8% in the winter semester. If we calculate a rough average of age, we found that the students in the winter semester are older by almost 5 years. We are interested in the attendance of students. There are many anecdotes of professors finding that many students are missing classes. They show up for exams, but we don't see them during the semester. But that could be due to the material that were posted online, which are some of the lessons learned from the pandemic. In the fall 2022, we have 50% of students who have attended all lectures. This is self-reporting information. And this is the proportion. 55% of male students attended all lecture, while female only 40%. We also have students who missed at most 2 classes, so 1 or 2, and overall this percentage is 28.3%. Now maybe female students seem to have attended less classes than male students for the smaller number, but this could be due to the family responsibility that suddenly have to be resolved for being able to go back to the lectures. In the winter 2023, we found that only 44% instead of 50%, 44% have attended all lectures, and this 44 is distributed as follows: 40% male and 55.5% female. We see a change. In the first semester, female students were not attended all lectures at the same rate as the male student, but this has changed. So that may be due to the fact that the original difficulties, family responsibility, and some of them have been resolved. 44% of students missed at most 2 classes, 1 or 2 classes. Overall, we found that the number of classes missed is overall 1.45 classes out of 13. Here we have this number is higher for female students and male students 1.33. Although this rate is changed when again we go to the adaptation period of the winter, number of classes missed has decreased overall. For female students, it's less than 1 on average, less than 1 lecture. And male student, it has increased. So students really changed, and the behavior over time is also changing. How much material is remembered after 3 months? This is an interesting question, because we were in class, then we went online, and now we're back in class. So we see that for the fall 2022 and winter 2023, we have the following information. Average 63.3% is remembered, while this is at 62.4% in the winter semester. So there is a slight decline. Now we can see also what happens in the average for female. They believe they'll remember only 56%, while male 64.7%, and that ratio goes down in the winter semester. We have done a sentiment analysis per gender and semester. A sentiment analysis is taking all the comments of students, evaluate them, put them in 2 categories, and evaluate whether they are positive or negative or neutral. Overall, the negative sentiment that we have here went from 22% to, here we see it, from 22%, the total, to 12%. So this negative sentiment went down. We can see here the total is not equal to the total number of students, but it is equal to the total number of partial comments because one student comment could contain many opinions. And then the level of positivity for female students is lower than the level of male students in the fall to 22. And we see that also in the winter semester. Level of positivity of female students went down while male students were more confident, and it increased to 82%. Now, if we put all these information together in this bar chart, this our response to the describe how was your experience of going back in class teaching after 2 years of pandemic. The green color represents the positiveness. The neutral is gray and the negative is red. So what do we notice here? So we note that the overall positive sentiment is increasing over time. We also recognize that the overall negative sentiment is, in this case, decreasing over time. So the positiveness is increasing and the negativeness is decreasing. We look at this in terms of gender. So we see that in the positiveness, which is green again, for female students, it has decreased over time, while the male students have increased positiveness. So over time, male students are more positive about the experience and female students a little bit less positive. When we look at this sentiment analysis by age group and semester, we notice that we have from 56% to 69.6% of positivity increased for the age group 25 to 30. We also notice from 53% to 50%, the level of positivity slightly decreased over time for the 30 to 35 age category. So, of course, we notice that 75% of the younger category has a highest percentage of positivity. So returning to class for the youngest student was a very positive experience. We could not verify that in winter 2023 because we did not have students in this age category. In conclusion, what we have noted, returning to campus is challenging, even though exciting. So there was a feeling of new life in the campus in September 2022. We see that female students missed the more in-person classes than male students. And the main reason for missing classes are family responsibilities and health issues. In the winter 2023, as the second semester with in-class teaching, female students' attendance increases while male students' attendance decreases. So, to post sentiment of students going back to in-class education is mostly positive and increases over time. We can conclude that the education system has benefited from teaching and learning experience during the pandemic. Universities have encouraged their professors to experiment with this virtual teaching to learn about those tools, but the progress was very slow. But with the pandemic, suddenly everybody had to be on board and learn more. So students, as professors, have to find their way into this return to a new reality. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.